And good afternoon. We are here at the Crime Prevention Association of Michigan, day 2 of our presentations, and we have one of the most phenomenal speakers that we've had.
You're too kind.
Coming to our conference. We go back a ways from when I served as president for the Crime Prevention Association of Michigan back in 2004 to 2007. I worked with him and the Michigan Chiefs of Police with a number of issues representing crime prevention and presenting at their conference. And he told a story today. Now I understand. I have a beautiful Michigan Chiefs of Police badge that was presented to me after the presentation, and now I understand because that's a big one for him with retirement and recognition for the effort. So I'm appreciative of that. But your message today for us, Chief Dolan, talking about law enforcement and longevity, the things that we're all under this umbrella right now with so much stress on law enforcement and what we do for our community, because it's this weighing of, are we doing things right and why are so many people leaving? You shared with us today some important insights about we as individuals with the work that we do and compartmentalizing it and being multidimensional. Why is that so important in this day and time in policing? Your experience, what you shared with us is
Well,
phenomenal.
being in a police family, being raised by a New York City police sergeant who was raised by a lieutenant, the theme that I got as a youngster, and then as I started policing, and everybody who knows me knows I'm a fundamental police person who believes in community policing. Actually, what Sir Robert Peel
Yes,
and his
Peel.
Peelian principles called
Yes.
policing
Yes.
is actually community policing. What we referred to as community policing to Peel was policing. So the bottom line is, what are the fundamentals? And what are the fundamentals today? People love you. 80% of the people living in the most trying circumstances in this country want more police service, not less. You're listening to the wrong people. You're listening to outliers. We shouldn't have officers saying things like no contact, no complaint. You don't get in trouble for you stop, you don't make, and depolicing. We should be having out-of-car experiences and reconnecting as aggressively as we can with law-abiding people and having that relationship. And then you can look at the data in the Gallup poll that will tell you you are held in such high esteem, and higher esteem than the Supreme Court,
Yes.
than the president,
Yes,
than
amazing.
Congress, because people consider you apolitical. Where we're seeing such great acts of violence and increase in violence is where we've depoliced. Somehow, someway, we got to lead the generation of people that are police officers today, remind them of the nobility of the purpose, and they work for the people behind the blinds, and this is no time to retreat. And therein lies, you'll see the reinvigoration of this wonderful relationship we have with the public. And it's a leadership crisis. It's time for leaders to step up and not say, if I didn't have 3 years to go, I wouldn't be in this business. They don't mean it.
Yes.
They don't mean that.
Yes, yes.
But they're saying things like that. Tell these young people it's not been a better time to be a police officer, never had better training. We've got great support, right?
Yes.
The pay is getting better, the benefits are getting better. Now, I wish I could have 5 more years to work rather than having to leave in 3 years. That's what they want, forward-looking, inspirational leaders. They don't want people talking to them like they're in a business that's going out of business. We'll never be out of business.
Yeah.
We're the police, we're the public police, and we need to make sure we've got the strongest relationship we can develop with our law-abiding people. And how do you do that? You get out of that car.
You gotta get out of the
Don't sit
car.
there and feel sorry for yourself.
You know, it's-
Go to conferences like this, understand crime prevention, and you're gonna see that it's gonna improve your health because you're hypervigilant. We get overinvested. And if you're out of the car more, if you're in the school, you're making presentations, you're with law-abiding people, you're gonna start realizing that the data in the Gallup poll is right.
Yeah.
And that, yes, the overwhelming majority of people admire their police and trust them.
You know, and one of the things I think that's been important, the longevity of this process, and as long as I've known you, and you mentioned names today of people who have been instrumental in the concept, I call it the paradigm shift, and fixing broken windows. With Dr. Keller, we were fortunate to be able to bring him to the Crime Prevention Association
What a
Michigan
wonderful
Conference.
man, huh?
And I was president at the time, and we did everything we could to reach out to every agency in the state, because that hot
Right.
button issue
Sure you
at that
did.
time, get out of the car, get out there, know what's going on. If those windows and the community's all shattered, if you leave it like that, then people assume you don't care.
Right.
And when we talked about that, and I know from my own personal experience of the things I brought back to my community and the engagement process.
And we know that, and
It's,
we
you
all
know,
know
it's
that.
so
If I
important,
went
so
to any department that's watching the video now, if I went to the department and said, let me borrow a police car, and in 1 hour I'd come back to the chief and the department and tell them their crime map. I'd show them where the They go, what are you, psychic? How did you know that? Well, what Kelly's argument was, as you remember,
Yes, he did.
you had him here enough, what did he say? Well, the neighborhood's sending off a message of tolerance. And the fact that the community, the police, and the government aren't doing anything about it, it's sending off that message. He never said zero tolerance. He said pay attention to these small things. And if someone's standing on a corner, public consumption, urinating, intimidating people, deal with it. It's not zero tolerance, but deal with those quality of life issues. But now, I think, in my estimation, inappropriately said, well, you're doing bias work there, you're discriminating. No, they weren't. They were dealing with issues that the community were nominating, and what's happening now. You and I talked about this earlier. We're going back to it. I got people calling me about more broken windows training. They want to know about community policing, because we're in that cycle again. You and I feel like we're 22 again, don't we?
You know, it's amazing, and I after retiring and coming back part-time, I've been in this business now for 30 years. And it has been like looking at, we're starting all over again. Because when I started, I was handing out flyers and going door to door, meeting with residents and talking to neighbors. Now, within 4 clicks, I can reach 30, 40,000 people.
I know.
But I still need to make sure we have that one-on-one
and
contact.
that is the key too, is that we get lulled a bit that, oh, well, we'll just use an electronic medium. The police cars are almost space shuttles, I know that.
Yes.
The cameras, the computers,
Everything's in there.
and all you need now is a portable potty, and the cop will never get out of the car. But here's my point, though, the relationship with people will never change. It's people, it's the barber, it's the informal leaders in the community. That's what we have to make sure the officers know. Yes, we need good crime analysis, but you can't replace the community connection. You never will, even when we have space police. We're gonna have space police one day, and there'll be a space police chief saying, I can't get my cops out on the planets. I can't get them walking, right? So listen, you're terrific for having me.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate
thank
everything
you.
that
I
you've
always
offered
love
and
coming up to
brought-
Michigan.
Brought here to us again, once again, at the Crime Prevention Association of Michigan Conference. We're here with retired Chief Dolan, who
And I'm
was
not standing
in-
on a box, I'm 6'8". Let me know that. Thank you,
Yes.
folks. and
Thank you so much.
thanks
We'll
for
be in
having me.
touch.
Right
Be
on.
well.
Thanks.
All right, bye-bye
Thank
now.
you. Oh, let me get this here.